Hi guys, it's me Amber, the Observant Mom, and I recently did a head shape study on children and I wanted to share my results. So I'm known for documenting the age-related stages that children go through. It's times when children act up, become hard to deal with, but that's because their brain is under construction, and on the other side of that is going to be some type of new ability. So what I did is I went through and I looked at pictures of my children before, during, and after each of these milestones. I focused mostly on the times that they were hard to deal with, the irritable period, so before, during, and after that period. And I documented things down to the day when I did this head shape study. Mostly I just wanted to see what I saw. I just wanted to just look and see what I saw. But I also wanted to bring more precision to my work to get a better idea of the variability in the milestones and to help just see what the head shape looked like, so people might have another clue as to how to see it in their children. So I wanted to show you the results of my study, what the head shape looks like, and some surprising things that I saw, mostly dealing with how their temperament, their personality was so similar down to the day. So here's some pictures. Hopefully this comes across. So let me stand this up a little bit. So this is my third child, Henry. He showed the head shape difference the best of all three, so I'm using him as an example. So what I saw typically was what a 1, 2, 3, 4 progression as they went through each milestone. So number 1 is their head starts off normal. Number 2 is there's some type of protrusion in the forehead somewhere, forward or upward. And then there's an elongation of the head, and then the back of their head catches up so that it comes back to what we would consider to be a normal head. So this one shows it the best, I felt. One of the best strips to show it. This is 3-year-old milestone 3. It's around 3 years 1 month. So in this first photo, you see what we would call a quote-unquote normal head. Let's see if I can get this. I do see a little bit of protrusion in through here, but it's not nearly as much as you see here. You see the protrusion here in his head, and then it elongates. It goes up a little bit better, a little bit more. So what I found is that this protrusion preceded irritable behavior. So if you see their head shape change, you might know that you're about to hit a milestone. The protrusion actually happened before what I would consider the start of the milestone. The start of the milestone is when they start to become irritable. I keep that as the start of the milestone because that's what parents are most likely going to notice. Here's another one. 3-year-old milestone 7. So again, we already have protrusion in the head here. But look at this. Doesn't it just seem like his brain's about to pop? And then over here we have elongation. I noticed for this one, it's the same exact date from the due date. And you can see here that he's sleeping. He most likely just woke up from a nap when I took this picture. It's probably later at night. And I think this speaks to just how important sleep is to children. That their brain growth happens when they sleep, is what I think. So sleep is super important. So that shows the protrusion and the elongation. This one, I did write it down. This one shows how the back of the head catches up after the elongation. So this is 3-year-old milestone 9B, around 3 years 7 months. And so this photo is the best photo I could find. You could probably ignore this one. But in this photo, so this is my son and this is my daughter. This is my second, I have 2 sons. This is my second son. So this is the protrusion of the forehead. You can see that it's more broad and rounded. And then you have the elongation. You also have a little bit of an elongation in the girl. And then you have the back of the head right here. And right here catches up. And this head shape is what I call egg shape because it's wide back here and then it comes a little bit narrow here. That's where the egg is. Same thing here. It's more wide in the back and then it's more narrow in the front. So this is the fourth stage. This is after the irritable period. These are more calm children now. That right here is where, after this protrusion, you would start to see irritable behavior because the brain, I argue, and many argue, is going under construction. So what I couldn't believe when I was doing this study is how much their personality down to the day was very often the same. So if you see these photos right here, they're almost the same day, 13/17 from the due date, 13/14 from the due date. And you see how, first of all, they're both looking down. And they both have a sort of calm coolness to them. They're both aware of who they are. They're settled in it, and they're just kind of cool and confident. This is the essence of being 3 years old, is discovering who they are and becoming settled into it. And then you have this photo in the middle, which I line these up as being very similar as far as head shape, which is why I lined them up. They're very similar in day too, 13/10, 13/11. But what you have here is two children looking right at the camera and sort of cheekily playing around with the camera. They both are just looking right at you, having fun. I couldn't believe the number of times that the facial expression and the temperament of the children down to the day of development was nearly the same. Here's one of the most shocking examples. 3-year-old milestone 1. This one starts right before 3 years old. So this first photo, this top strip is my first son, and the second strip is my second son. Both sons here are on the same exact day from the due date, and they both have a very similar look about them. They're both looking down. As far as the head shape and the face, you can see they have puffier cheeks, and they're both intensely focused. They're both doing something, and I mean, whatever they're doing, it was not the same exact thing, but their facial expression is the same. This is after the milestone. This is after the irritable part of the milestone. He's actually just coming out of it here. It's again almost the same day, 10/98, 10/95. This is a little after 3 years old. And you see a noticeable difference between both sons, and in a very similar way. Their face is longer. Their ears are actually a little bit longer. Their cheeks are no longer puffy. And they both are just sort of up. Like he's sitting straight up in his chair. He's being kind of cheeky. He's just nonchalantly looking back at the camera. They're both just sort of settled and alert. I wish I had the full photo of it because I think it shows it better. I could not believe how often this happened, that down to the day, their very temperament was the same. Here is yet another example, 3-year-old milestone 2, the very next one. So this one, the start of it, starts with very similar as the last one ended with, because they flow right into the other. But we have here almost the same exact day, 11/09, 11/08. We have in this first one very bright, chipper boys. They have very bright eyes. Their faces are light. They're both just kind of looking this way. And then after the milestone, on nearly the same exact day again, 11/15, 11/16, they're both scowling. I mean, look at this intense face and look at this intense face. After the milestone, almost to the same exact day, my sons hit the milestones almost identically, like down to the day. I was floored when I saw this, and by no means did I take these pictures intentionally. I was trying to capture this photo, he just happened to be in it. I was trying to capture my other children. This photo, we were doing an activity and I had a series of photos about it. By no means did I purposely take a photo of my son's scowling faces. But I got it on to the nearly to the day. Same exact facial expression. There continues to be more. Okay, so this one shocked even me. I had been seeing it so many times and I got so used to it. It happened so many times. So this one is, sorry, milestone 10B. So this is a major milestone. This is one where I argue they develop core personality integration. They become aware of who they are. They know I am good because I am responsible because I help my mother. I'm funny because I make people laugh. So this is roughly before 1349, 1347. And what I couldn't believe about this one, nearly to the day 1359 versus 1358, both boys did something similar. They both pretended to be a hero. Pretend is a harsh word. They both wanted to cheerfully play as if they were a hero. This boy pretended to play a football game. He was watching it on TV and he was pretending he was the quarterback. He put on a jersey. He went to bed with his winning ball. This boy wanted to get up a hill with his tricycle. The enthusiasm that both boys did it was similar. As a mother, I sometimes have deja vu. I see one kid do something and I'm like, oh, that's just like when so-and-so. That's largely how I do my work, is I have this sort of motherly deja vu. And I go back and I check my notes to see like if they were around the same date, and very often they are. So I couldn't believe that story for each was down to the day. It was a very similar story, and you know, people think that these kind of stories happen all the time. They really don't. There's a finite number of things that your child will do in their childhood. And this one lined up. And then also before the milestone, very similar facial expressions, very similar head shape. Both head shapes are kind of round. And then they grow. They physically grow. So one more. This will be the last one. A comparison between my son and my daughter, my third. Milestone 11, around 3 years, 9 months. This is my son. This is my daughter. My daughter did not hit the milestones exactly like the boys. She was a little bit off sometimes, but I would line up their head shape and their behavior to decide what was the same as far as their development. So this day is a little bit off, 1375 versus 1382, but their behaviors and their head shape were so similar that I lined them up. But we have chipper children here. And then during the intense part, I think you can tell that this was irritable behavior. 1386 versus 1385, very similar disgruntled facial expressions. After the milestone, 1396, 1397, same facial expression. They're both looking down. They're both thinking about something. They're both kind of happy. It was uncanny to me the number of times that happened. That not just their head shape, but their personality was very similar. And so, that's one of the reasons why I feel that the only way to study child development is to see them in their natural environment, to watch them in a home environment where they're at their normal, where they're at their happy. You can't do it in labs. And you also can't just reduce it down to head shape. That I see value in that, but you can't just take measurements and only do that as far as understanding their development. You have to, these candid photos tell you arguably more. Although I see value in the head shape. Imagine being able to upload a photo of your child into a software, and they do the analysis, and they come back and tell you what developmental milestone your child is at. So if there's any doubt about if your child is hitting them early or late, like this could help bring some analysis to it. So anyway, this head shape study will influence my work. It helped me to be more precise. And it will be in my next book, Misbehavior is Growth, an Observant Parent's Guide to 3-year-olds. It's available for pre-order now. I don't include every single photo, but I just want you to know that I did it, and it helped the work. And I also have a beta read around request right now for a summary of the summaries. I put together a developmental map of all the milestones, hopefully allowing parents to see the bigger picture. I mapped their imaginations to the new abilities formed at each milestone, because I was stunned at how their new imaginations seemed to help their new abilities. So that is in my bio link on Instagram, The Observant Mom. The document is downloadable, and the instructions are right in the document. So, theobservantmom.com. Thank you for watching.